Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with today's trading action. All right, now we've got really good trending markets, but we are at a stage where the short-term trends are really going to diffuse because they've lost momentum. Now, let me just explain to you what I mean. Now, we've got a nice uptrend here in euro, uptrend here in sterling. Dollar Swiss is going down nicely. The beast, dollar yen, is going down. And even Aussie and Kiwi are moving up, right? This is the first time we've sort of seen everything line up. Obviously, dollar CAD, it is going lower, but with oil falling, that could be a little bit of a tricky one. So most of the instruments, the major currency pairs, are trending nicely. Now, what I'm talking about is the momentum on these runs, right? They are at the wrong end of the spectrum. It's almost like you stretch a rubber band, it can only go so far, let it go, and it comes back. Now, this isn't going to ricochet all the way back, but it will drift a little bit lower as we go through the course of the next 12 to 16 hours. Then it's time to get back into the trends, right? So just be careful at the moment. Just because they're overdone at the moment doesn't mean they actually pull back, right? Don't get me wrong there. That you usually do see some sort of pullback, but we are waiting to trade with the market, with momentum, and that's going to help us stay in the cash, right? So if I just look at the what you need to be focusing on, what could impact the general price action today? And that's the key macro fundamentals. We've got the euro, or actually the German GfK consumer confidence numbers. They are a good historical number. And the best thing is they don't have like a shock to the market like CPI or, employment numbers. It just comes out, you see if it's strong or weak, and then you can make some decisions. But this is the thing, right? We've got those German numbers coming out, and this is what we're looking for today is really the ECB rate decision. Now, no change of rates is up almost 100% factored in. It's going to come down to the press conference to what actually happens. So, and this is the thing. I was actually in a trade last night, which was, if I just come over here to the Signal performance page, I had a euro sterling position. And you know what? It sort of bugged me all night because I'm thinking, hang on, I've gone long euro sterling here a day out from the ECB. Right? I wasn't using my sort of brain power to go, hang on a second, this probably isn't going to go far until we hear from the ECB. In fact, I mean, it only went down about 15 points. I was lucky enough to get out, and I'm talking about 10 hours later at break even, right? So just be aware, factor in these events is very important to working out which instruments you should trade. Okay, so like for instance, now would be the time if we got strong S&P manufacturing PMI numbers out of the UK, and then we get a negative press conference from the ECB. Well, now it's time to sell euro sterling, right? So that's what we're going to be doing. And as you go through the live trade signals today, just keep an eye on things, especially as we go through that European session, because we are going to see the euro crosses and euro itself light up. Now, this is what I'm talking about. If you look at the signals, and I just showed you the charts. For example, euro, okay, it's bullish, but it's overdone on the short-term and long-term chart. So you wouldn't be looking to get in and buy at this point, okay? And you're seeing that across all the majors, right? Because they've actually had a pretty good run the last probably day or two. So just be aware if you're running in and you want to get into the trend, now's not the time. It will be probably in about 12 hours, okay? So unless you've got Prime Time Pro, you probably need to come back and check the screens quite regularly. And as I said, with this ECB meeting, okay, I would be expecting hopefully a clear direction from the ECB. President Christine Lagarde has done a great job. She's very clear on what they want to do, which at this point, it's like nothing. So that may just clear the air and let the euro trend continue higher, right? So, and that's what the trend is. We are seeing really good trends. And what I'm talking about is not just short-term charts. If you look at your long-term charts, we are seeing really cracking trends. And I'm a little bit pissed off with myself. I probably gave the Bank of England Governor Bailey too much credit. And I end up sort of waiting for the trade to get long sterling. And I know some of our traders did get hold of it and stay with it. Well done. Right? It's one of those sort of learning things. You're like, okay, next time, maybe be in the trade and manage it if we do hear something sort of weird. If not, Well, the trend is going to continue, and that's what I'm expecting at the moment, right? So we have got good trading conditions. As I said, we're just out of tune with the way the markets are flowing at the moment. Give it some time. Keep an eye on the main numbers that are coming out. If I just come back to the calendar, if you scroll down, there is a bunch of things coming out, right? There's some a bunch of numbers here out of the ECB ahead. I mean, out of the eurozone ahead of the ECB. The ECB is the main game, right? No change of rates expected, as I said, but that's really the starting point. So don't worry about trading just before it. There's also some CAD retail sales figures out, which I didn't have room to fit in, but the press conference here is the main event, right? When there's no change of rates, it comes back to the press conference and the statement to work out, okay, what are the central bank doing? And they usually tell us if inflation goes up, we'll do this. If it goes down, we'll do that. They're the answers we're looking for. And then you come into the US session. There's some final or some flash PMI numbers, which could add some spice to the overall move on the major currency pairs. So let's just see how that plays out. It's a big day. Let's get the ECB out of the way. As I said, we've got such good trending markets at the moment. It would be great to just have no fresh news out and things just continue as they are. And that's where we're going to make a lot of money. All right. Okay, guys, there's a fair bit to that, but I just wanted to explain to you the lack of synchronization just at the moment on the hourly charts. Everything's moving in the right direction, but you might see either things stall or slightly retrace today. And then don't get scared about getting into the trends if they do retrace a touch. All right, guys, have a good one. All the best. Cheerio.